Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today we're going to be cutting and installing all of the blocking for the ladder in the tiny house. But first, I need to take this drawing here and get the as-built dimensions for all this stuff. I know these two studs right here are not the standard 14.5. I believe they're closer to 14 3/4. So I'm going to get the as-built dimensions on all of this stuff, and then we'll head back over to the woodworking shop and start cutting some of this stuff. I have an updated drawing and I just took a snapshot of it from the computer onto my phone. I'm going to be putting a magnet right here, and I'll explain a little bit more about that later. But oh, and this is also flipping sideways. Oh, I probably should show, if you missed the last video of the work in here, I got this wall framed in, and as soon as I get this stuff done on the other side of the wall, all this stuff, I'm going to be insulating both sides of this wall, running electric through here and running this wire here, and we're going to drywall this and move on. So all right, let me move this ladder and I'll show you what we got going on here. Okay, so this piece right here is just the other half of the header over the door. I got to make sure I have this width exactly right. Well, the width and the length. And then these two pieces right here, we got 2x6s here, two pieces. That is blocking for the ladder mechanism, and the ladder mechanism is going to be two big chunks of angle bracket that are mounted up here, and the ladder is going to be connected to that, and then the ladder itself will roll out, oh, maybe to here, the same as what this ladder was, kind of like this, so that you can go up the ladder without using your hands if you need to, if you got stuff in your hands. This is going to be storage at some point. Right now it's her library, but at some point that's going to be storage. And if you have boxes in your hand, we found from previous use, we used to have just a ladder that went up that was a little bit away from the wall. You had to use one hand and kind of like put your head over here. If you had something in the other hand, use your head for balance. It was kind of inconvenient, and we're going to get rid of that. So it has blocking down here as well, this right here, but like I said, that's going to turn sideways, and it's going to have a big magnet attached to it. The magnet will be hidden behind the drywall, and when the stairway retracts, one of the rungs will be right there in front of the magnet, and we're going to have a magnet in that rung, in the back of that rung, so that'll hold it nice and tight up against the wall. And then to pull the ladder out, you just got to grab it and roll it out. It'll most of the time be up against the wall in normal use. And then we got this. I designed the ladder already. I think I'll show you that on the computer. It'll make a bit more sense then. But this thermostat, two rungs of the ladder are like right here and right here. And the thermostat will be like just above the lower rung, so you'll be able to see it and it won't be hidden by the rung above that. So the thermostat will be right in here somewhere, and we need that blocking for that. That's just going to be screwed from the other side right to the wall here. Hopefully we don't have problems with the stud that's on the other side, but we'll see when we get to it. And I need to cut the back of the blocking so that it doesn't interfere with the wire here. Oh, and I need to map out exactly where these wires are so that I can mount my big angle brackets up here. I'd like to have the lag screws above and below where these wires are, but obviously they definitely can't go through the wires. So I have to draw a map of exactly where these two studs are from the wall over there, and exactly where the wires are in the wall. And then when we're putting up them brackets and stuff, I'll just design it so that the holes miss all this stuff. Should be kind of interesting. It's not going to take too gosh awful long, except for the magnet that's in this part. I have to route out the back of that. I probably won't even use the router. I'll probably do it on the table saw. But for now, I just need some exact dimensions on this stuff, and then we'll head back over to the wood shop and get it cut. I had to turn the heat on because it was getting a little bit chilly, but the last time I worked out here was when I was doing that wall, and that was 2 days ago, and it only got down to, I believe it was 44 degrees. That thermostat was up here. You can probably see it if you look back on the video. But that's pretty good. It got down to 17 degrees last night, but this place retains its heat really well. Okay, I got all the stuff that I need. I got these holes mapped out. That's these two. I also took pictures of it. I'm going to enter all that stuff into the computer so I can design these brackets fully. I have them roughly designed, and well, let me show you that on the computer real quick, and then we'll get back to this stuff. Okay, here we are on the computer. This is wireframe, so it may be a little difficult to see what's going on. This is the opening going up into the loft. Here are the brackets looking down from the top. This is the leg that comes out from the wall. This is the leg that's on the wall. And you can see the bolt back here. That's going to go into the wall. And it's a 4-inch leg angle iron. The corners are rounded off like this, and then it has a slot cut into it right here. And you can see if I drag this, it has a pin that goes through the slot at the top of the ladder, and we'll show the whole thing here. It's got wheels at the bottom, and if you drag, you would just pull the ladder out by hand, and it would roll along the floor until it's in the open position, and you can leave it open as long as you want until you need to get at these cabinets or whatever, and then you just roll it back up against the wall. And this rung right here will have a magnet built into the back of it, and that's going to attract to a magnet that's on this blocking in the wall. That magnet will be right in the center here, and the magnet in the ladder will be right in the center as well. And then here is the thermostat right here. You can see, kind of, you just have both ends, but this will go across here, and the thermostat will always be visible. Whether the ladder's opened or closed, you'll be able to see the thermostat and adjust it. So you can see that you can open it, close it, and then we'll have two built-in cabinets on the wall right behind it. It's going to slide right in front of the cabinet. I believe this cabinet here, oh, what's the depth on that? It's fairly deep. I think it might be 24 inches deep. And then this upper will be about 18 inches deep. And the window is going to be right about here. Let me show you this real quick. Here are all of the drawings. That's the wall. That's that wall. This is what I've used to build the building so far. And when I'm not using it, I just shut it off. All right, we'll get you back to your normally scheduled video now. Pretty interesting, eh? I'm not exactly sure what material I'm going to make the ladder from, and the stuff you just saw on the computer is really rough, but it's going to work if I get all of this blocking in correct. So what I need to do is cut these to length, and then this will have pocket screws going up and over, and it's going to be glued in place. And this one is going to have a notch on the back for the wires here. This one right here, I should check this, but I don't think this one needs to be notched at all. And this wire won't be there, so that's not going to matter. So this one I didn't mark down. This one I just marked down the length. We have 14 3/4 on this one. 14 11/16 plus, which is a 32nd, so that would be 23 32nds. It's a lot easier to just write it that way. And we have the relief cut right there. I'm going to double check and see if that needs a relief cut. This one needs a relief cut as well on this one side, and it is 14 5/8 long. There is a lot of dimensions here. I have the exact height of the top header, where there's solid wood, where the wires go through. Really important to know where I can attach that ladder to without hitting a wire and going into some meat. I believe one of the brackets is going to be right here, and it's going to have like a wood plate on the front, so it'll be really strong in the end. Not that it really even needs to be, because it'll be just like this right here and on wheels at the bottom, so it's not really going to have like a lot of weight going down on it on that top part where the bracket is. Kind of hard to explain, but it'll be a lot like this. You can get up and stand on this, and it's really not going to go anywhere. It's pushing actually against the wall and down. It won't be pulling down on the bracket. Hard to explain, but it will work. Okay, so I'm going to go cut all this stuff, and again, we have a special cut for that magnet. I got the magnet from Dave over at CCRX 6700, and we're going to be putting it to good use. All right, let's go get this stuff cut. Okay, I got this header piece cut. That's the piece right here. And I went over there to test fit it because this is just a hair too narrow, and it fit perfect. So what I got to do, while I was there, I realized I have them wires going through on both sides. They're laying flat in the middle, so there's enough room for them, but the holes kind of intrude on the 1.5 inches at the ends. So what I got to do on this particular board is I'll come in 1/4 inch and then cut at an angle. So I'll go 1/4 to nothing and cut a bevel on both ends, and then this gets pocket screws going up and over to the side, and then that'll be done. We might as well get that done right away. Well, we'll get the bevel cuts done right away. We'll do all the pocket screws at the same time. All of these boards get pocket screws. This is just a stick. It's just a piece of 2x4 cut to length, so I'm not going to worry about that one very much. So let's get that bevel cut and then set this aside and move on to this top board here. Let me show you this real quick. We have 1.25 inches to the blade down at the bottom right by the fence, and the top is a little more than 1.5 inches. So it's going to cut about 1/4 inch into the wood and then come out of the wood at the top. All right, I cut that same bevel on the back of this one. This is that magnet holding board, and I laid out where the magnet's going to go. I got this magnet from Dave from CCRX 6700. It's a coal mine, but it has a train track, and he does most of the train work. It's a pretty cool channel. And I'm going to use the magnet that he gave me for the catch system for the ladder. So what I need to do is route this out, the thickness of this magnet. I believe it's 1/4 inch, but I cannot find the right bit for it. A lot of the stuff is still packed away somewhere. So even though it's a lot more labor intensive, I'm just going to nibble this away with the table saw. Oh, also, I don't have any place where I can clamp this down. I just don't have the shop set up enough to do that kind of stuff. So I'm going to straighten this blade out and we'll nibble this away. It'll take a little while. You just got to keep moving the fence and then making a cut. And you can actually do the cuts further apart and then chisel it out, but I'm going to try to do it with just the blade. We want this to be flush with the surface, and then I'm going to put a heavy-duty screw through there. Actually, I will probably put a bolt through there. I don't want this ever going anywhere, and it'll be easy enough to put like a 1/4 inch bolt right through it and put a washer on the other side. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. This is going to be boring as hell. I'm going to get it done, and then I'll show you the setup after that. All right, we'll show you this real quick. We have an exact depth. this rim is a little bit higher than the magnet, but doesn't matter. This is dead flush, and I did that. Let me see if I can do this without hurting myself. This is really strong. By putting that on the table like that and then adjusting the blade until it just kissed the straight edge. To get this off, you gotta, it's not even easy to slide it. Get it off the edge and then put it where it can't do any harm. All right, now I don't need to attach this right away. We have, it's gonna go like that. And we got our bevel cut there. So we need 2 pocket screws on either side of this one. And this one is ready for pocket screws as well. And then these 2, I'm just gonna cut the pocket screws in those right away. It's gonna go like this. And we're going to have pocket screws on the sides and the tops of both of these. Bottom one's going to be screwed right into this one. This one's going to be screwed into the top plate in the wall. These are slightly different sized, but first I have to cut that back stuff on these. This one gets a 1/4 inch by 3, which is about the full height of the blade. We'll do that in like 3 passes. And this one here doesn't need any back cut at all. The wires come through the wall and then go right down the center. And this one will clear them. I still got to cut that piece as well. So let's get that big back cut on this one and start pocket screwing these. Okay, that came out really well. Luckily, I have an entire room of hardware over in the machine shed, and I could find exactly what I needed. I got to tighten that down when we get across the street. So now it's just the pocket screws. Pocket screws on this one, this one, this one, and this one. This is the thermostat mount. Yep, that's it. I'm going to go have lunch and then walk the dogs and come back and get this wrapped up. Then we'll head over to the tiny house and get this all installed. time for a little inspection. That worked out perfect. No damage to any wires, and they're all behind the blocking. I wrote this down. We're 32 inches from the wall right here, and this will be out of there. This will go down and it will be strapped to these other wires. So for 32 inches from here over to the wall, there's no wires or anything. So I can put a heavy lag right through this, you know, sticking out the other side with no fear of it hitting anything. I want to get the first two legs. One will probably go up in here somewhere, and the other one down in here. That'll be a little bit scary, but on this side, it'll probably go here and somewhere in here. So I'll just use the same size spacks and it'll go right through. Okay, so I have another board that goes below this, and we have the header here and the thermostat mount. 1, 2, and 3. Let's get those in there. Okay, now we have this thermostat mount, which is right here, and that gets screwed from the other side of the wall. So I've marked its location. It's 52 7/8 up, and where is that, 4 1/8 to the outside face here. I have that marked right here. So what I'm going to do is measure 3/4 of an inch in and go up about an inch, and I'll put a screw right through the wall, go on the other side and mark where that screw came through, pull the screw back out, and then just hold my piece of wood right where it needs to go and put a screw in from the other side. Then I can use that screw, just take a level and go up and put another one at the top and another one at the middle, and that should be really nice and secure. And then the thermostat box is going right in here somewhere. I have a dimension from the floor to the thermostat as well, and that's 57 inches. So let's get that screw through the wall. I'm actually going to use longer screws than this to screw it in, but this is all I need to go through. We're going to go through right about there. Okay, I went an inch up and 3/4 of an inch over. That'll put me in the center of the board. Just mark this just in case. That's kind of nice that I screwed up when I marked this to attach this OSB to the framing. I had to cut those nails off, but it's very close to where I need to be for this. Okay, let's pull that out, and we're going to use 3 3/4 inch screws to screw that board on. Need to just barely start it. This is only a 1/2 inch thick. It can poke out a little bit, but that's probably too much right there. Back it off just a bit. And once I get this first screw in, I don't know if I mentioned this or not. I might have. I'll put a level on it. All right. All right. I'll just eyeball that. And tap it on. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, that's going to wrap up the blocking for this wall. Now, I'm going to come back and do the electrical, and I'll be mounting the thermostat box here, and we have the wire to go in and the wire to go out right here. So that's going to be disconnected from this stuff, go up here, be connected to this, go into the box, be connected again, and then go back down into this bundle. This box right here is going to come through the wall. It's going to be right here. It'll be up tight against these wires. It'll be right here, and on this side, that would be right in here somewhere. And we'll be wiring this 3-way wire into it. Well, both of these wires will go into it, and then it's going to be wired for another 3-way switch on the other side of that room. So I need to get that wire into it right away as well before I can drywall both sides of this wall. So there's a fair amount of wiring that needs to be done. And we also need to run a 14-3 from this box through here, out here somewhere, across and up into there, over and to where the smoke alarm is going to be on there. Both of those things have to happen before I can do any drywalling on this wall. And I also need to insulate. But I'm guessing the wiring is probably only going to take 1 day. There's going to be a lot of drilling and stuff, so we'll see on that. but I think it's only going to take 1 day. But if it takes more than that, I'll put it all in one video. And the insulating on this, that's just for noise, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But I do have to trim all of that stuff, and I'm going to do it on both sides. So I'm guessing that's going to be a full day as well. Once that's done, I have 2 pieces of drywall here and a little piece in the middle, just like that side. Then I can finish the drywalling in here. Once the drywall's done, we got the ceiling and the floor, and that'll be, oh no, that won't be it. I have the trim to do in here, and we're putting full-size Craftsman trim in here, so it's going to look really cool in here, but it's probably going to take a couple weeks till it gets to that point. So if you want to see any of that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.